There are things leaders notice in the first few minutes, sometimes seconds. Not your resume, not your title, not your credentials. They notice how you think, how you communicate, how you carry yourself when someone unexpected or something unexpected happens. And here's the part that most people don't realize. This isn't just true at work, it's true in life. People decide how to treat you long before they tell you how they see you. Think about that for a minute. And those decisions are often based on signals you don't even realize you're sending. Welcome to the interview room, where real conversations build real growth. Each week, we sit down with amazing business owners and everyday experts to uncover what's really behind the biggest wins, toughest failures, and boldest goals. Because here's the truth, you don't have to have it all figured out to sit in this room. I'm Coach Annie. Let's learn, laugh, and level up together. So today, we're talking about what people notice instantly and how that affects your movement in both work and life. Because whether you're in the boardroom, on a date, leading a meeting, or setting a boundary, you are always being evaluated quietly. And most of the evaluation has nothing to do with skill. It's all about signals. Why? Because perception is formed faster than performance. So let's unpack signals. Let's unpack what those signals look like. Signal one for me is clarity of thinking. The first thing people notice is clarity of thinking. And at work, it sounds something like, can you explain a complex issue simply? Can you articulate trade-offs? Can you say what you recommend, not just what happened? In life, it could show, for my folks who need the life examples, when you talk about your goals, are you vague? Are you specific? Is there metrics? Is there deadline? When you talk about your standards, are they unclear? When someone asks what you want, can you answer? Clarity builds trust. Confusion creates hesitation. Clarity builds trust. Confusion creates hesitation. Clear thinking builds way faster than perfect answers. And I'm going to give you an example. I was in a room and I saw two professionals, equal experience in a meeting. One lists and explains the task. The other explains the reasoning. Very clear. Same intelligence, different perception. The one who gave clarity, the one who explained the reasoning gets remembered. Why? Because it's clear. It's clear. It's clear. It's clear. And it's clear. And once clarity is established, the next signal shows up under pressure. So because pressure exposes what preparation hides, I want to talk a little bit about how you respond under pressure. Leaders, people in general, notice how you react when something goes wrong. At work, when the plan changes, when someone challenges you, when you don't have the answer. In life, when conflict happens, when plans fall through, when someone disappoints you, when someone doesn't show up for you, do you spiral? Do you blame? Do you overflame? Or do you steady yourself? Do you keep yourself together? Pressure really reveals identity faster than success does. You don't need to be perfect under pressure, but you do need to be grounded because grounded signals safety and safety builds influence. I'm going to let that soak for you guys for a minute. Let's move to something more subtle, something people feel before they hear it. Ownership. I own. It's mine. It's all about me. Ownership is not about authority. It's about posture. At work, I always give work and life examples because I want people to see how it shows up. At work, ownership can sound like, here's what I recommend, here's the risk, here's what I do next. In life, ownership sounds like, this doesn't work for me, this is what I need, this is where I'm headed. So ownership is a signal, not a title. And I want to say that because a lot of folks operate like it's a title. No, ownership is a signal, not a title. When you avoid ownership, you stay in reaction mode. When you speak with ownership, people shift how they move. I remember I was talking with someone who always says, whatever you want is fine. Sure, anything. Whatever you said. Now think about someone who calmly says, I'd prefer this. I'd prefer we move in this way. I'd rather we head in this direction. You know, a lot of times the second person gets chosen more often, not because they're louder, because they're clear about what they want. And clarity and ownership lead into a final signal that I've noticed. And this is where acceleration happens, is your decision language. Most people report information, very few interpret it. When you're at work, instead of saying, here's what happened, say, here's what happened and here's what I recommend. When you're in life, when you're showing up for people, when you're showing up for things, I would say, for me, I would probably say, I'm thinking about maybe changing things. Instead of me saying, I'm thinking about maybe changing things, I would probably have just said, hey, I've decided I'm shifting in this direction. Careers and lives accelerate when your language shifts from reporting to deciding. You have to make a decision. Decision language signals readiness, and readiness attracts responsibility. This is why I say life is a series of interviews, because these signals aren't evaluated once, they are evaluated constantly in conversations and relationships and meetings, and how you respond when you fall apart. You are being interpreted in every interaction. The question isn't, are you capable? The question is, what are you signaling? So I share all this, and in format, I always want you to walk away with practical tips. So tip one that I want to give you today is run a clarity audit in real time. I talked about doing 7 days last episode. This time I want you to try a different 7 days. After a meaningful conversation, I want you to ask yourself, did I explain what happened, or did I explain what I think? Write down one sentence that you could have showed more clarity or ownership, and that will help you build awareness fast. Awareness of language changes perception immediately. Most people never audit themselves in real time, and I want you to try it, because you will. The second tip is practice control silence. When I tell you this is hard for me too sometimes. When someone asks for your opinion, pause for 3 full seconds before answering. Not because you don't know, but because measured response signal thoughtfulness. We rush to fill spaces because we think speed equals confidence, and it doesn't. Composure is a leadership signal. Silence communicates certainty. Most people talk too fast when they want to be taken seriously. Slow down. Watch what shifts. So here's the question. Are you showing your work, or are you thinking it? Because people don't they don't elevate activity, they elevate judgment. And judgment is visible in how you speak, pause, and decide. As we enter this part of the segment where we enter the interview room, here's the real question underneath all this. What are you signaling without realizing it? Because whether in work or life, people respond to the energy you project before they respond to your credentials. And before we close, I ask myself, and every guest who comes into the room, the same question, because this podcast isn't just about growth, it's about awareness. So, what moment changed how you showed up today? What is something you know now that you wish you understood earlier? And what interview season are you in? To me, when I think about this topic, about what changed for me, there were moments early in my career and in life where I thought being capable would carry me, and it didn't. Understanding how when I understood how I was perceived, that changed everything. The moment you understand perception, you start to move differently. Question number 2, what is something you know now that you wish you understood earlier? So this is something I ask myself daily, and daily I write down different thoughts, different conversations. For me, I wish I understood that how you speak matters as much as what you know. I wish I understood that calmness is strength, that ownership is attractive, that pausing is powerful. Composure communicates more than credentials ever will. And I think that for me is one of the biggest things I wish I understood. And my interview season right now is just that I am growing. I'm in my growing season. I'm less proven. I'm more deciding, less reacting. And maybe that's where you are too, because growth isn't always about adding more. Sometimes it's just about adjusting how you show up. So let me leave you with this. Are you waiting to be recognized, or are you intentionally shaping how you're recognized? Because that's the difference. You don't rise because you're talented. You rise because people trust how you think. This is the interview room where preparation meets opportunity, where clarity creates confidence, and where you learn how to show up when it matters. I'm Coach Annie, and I'll see you in the next conversation. Thanks for joining me today in the interview room. I hope you got a little inspiration and maybe even a few aha moments from our conversation. If you loved this episode, don't forget to follow, share it with a friend, and leave a quick review to keep the good vibes going. Remember, you don't need to have it all figured out. Just keep showing up and growing. Until next time, I'm Coach Annie. See you in the next interview.